Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video I want to give you my quick guide on how to build Sanguine Maria now that she is in-game. I've been loving her now that I've actually got her on the live server on my account, and yeah, let's dive into it. Here you can see the infographic that we've got over on hellhades.com. There is a champion spotlight for her, which will cover a good bit of the stuff I'm going to talk about in this video. We of course have her champion page in there as well, but this gives you a quick overview. Let's go break it down. So I think there's a few things you need to know, I think, straight away for Maria that are really going to affect some of your decisions going into it. So her A1 a couple of tricks or a couple of things to watch for straight away. She's a complicated character. I think this is a character that you could pick as sort of your main, right? That's a big focus for you, and you could really enjoy trying to min-max her and optimize her. So her A1 is a triple hit, with each hit having a 33% chance to grant an extra turn. Now, the crucial thing here is that it is each hit. So generally, with her A1, you want to try target a high health enemy to land each hit to give you the highest chance for an extra turn. It's 70% if you can land all three. And if you have a Merciless 9-piece as well, which would be, I think, actually her best build, goes up to just over 75% chance for an extra turn on her A1. It's not going to happen every time, but it'll happen most times. If you give her her best Relic, which is the Dread Bomb, it goes up just slightly above 80% chance for an extra turn with a max Dread Bomb at 9-piece Merciless and all 3 hits of the A1, which is good, obviously. Her A2... Now, here's the thing. Again, coming into how we build Maria, this ignores 33% defense. Now, if her turn number is divisible by 3, so if it's on one of her turns divisible by 3, she ignores 99% defense, stone skin, and block damage. Now, this is obviously going to be very difficult to set up for full auto. I think that you probably generally are not going to want to put too much focus into that past the first use of it. Let me explain, right? On full auto, imagine we go in, we've got someone like Donatello who's giving us cooldown reduction, or she's running in Merciless as I have her set up. She's got a chance to decrease the skill cooldown. What you can do on auto is you could open with her A1, then have her use her A3 as first priority, and then it will naturally land on her A2 as her third turn, and it will be divisible by 3. You get the bonus effects. Great, good stuff. If you're playing manually, it would be better to open with her A3, then do an A1, and then go in with the A2. But obviously you cannot set her up to do that manually in the AI. It's just not possible. You'd have to turn off her A2 entirely for her to A1 after A3. She'll just do her A2 automatically otherwise. No way to stop that happening. So, there you go. Now, here's the thing. I think in a lot of circumstances, it's not going to actually hugely matter past that first one. I think you do want to land it the first time, particularly against Stone Skin in Arena, and particularly against block damage enemies. But if you do build her, which I'm going to recommend, in 6-piece Merciless, and if you trigger Helm Smasher, which is a mastery, which is a 50-50 to ignore 25% defense, 50% of the time, you're ignoring 25 plus 35. It's an additional 60 onto 33%, right? If you trigger Helm Smasher, you're ignoring 93% defense. Certainly 99% is better, but it's probably not going to make or break anything, probably. So it's actually pretty close. Now, that requires you to land the 50-50 to hit Helm Smasher, but my point is, you can absolutely use this move, and it's a monster of a move, even if her turn is not divisible by 3. But probably for the first turn of the fight, you want to land that because you're going to want to ignore Stone Skin, kill someone under Stone Skin, and have the irresistible lockout. She will lock out enemies, increase their skills by 3 turns if she kills an enemy. That will pass an accuracy versus resistance check, but it can't be resisted if her turn's divisible by 3, which again is really good. We'll come to the build though. Don't neglect some accuracy because you absolutely can use this move not on a turn divisible by 3, and it can still be very good. It's going to come down to the actual fight, and that's why I say you can manual play and do a lot of manipulation. Now, her A3, I think the key thing here, extra turn if she's under a number of buffs divisible by 3. I think the key, again, for arena play, you're probably aiming for 3 or 6 buffs. It's extremely difficult to get 9 buffs in arena. More doable against clan bosses and bigger team situations, but still pretty tricky to have 9 buffs consistently. So you're mostly looking at 3 or 6 for her first turn or second turn. Usually buffs last 2 turns, so it doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, there you go. Aim for that the first time. I think for my practice in Arena, it's quite difficult to have this lineup every single time. And sometimes you'll prefer to A1. Though again, looking at this move, she does a huge AoE attack. She attacks everyone that has less than 66% HP. It's a monstrous move. If your enemy is softened up, that is insane. And she can also remove all buffs. It's not resistible by enemies with buffs divisible by 3. You have 0 control over that. So again, you're going to want to build a little bit of accuracy. It's not a top priority, but you want to build a little bit so that she can remove buffs and she can increase the skill cooldowns, at least for enemies like other damage dealers who aren't building resistance. So they are some of the key tricks and that are going to affect how we build her and what we're looking to do. So let's talk about that then. In terms of the build, I mean, if I go back to my notes over here, I initially in my preview, I was liking 4 lethal and 4 stone skin the most, and you could substitute in 4 savage or 4 instinct, whatever. Any of the 4-piece ignore defense sets with stone skin to keep her alive for the first turn. That's a great build, and that will be easier to have her work on full auto with just going A1, A3, A2, A1, A3, A2. I do, though, prefer Merciless overall, I have to say. Merciless, the more I play with her, the more I'm liking it. Just going all-out aggression, giving her the highest kill pressure possible, getting back to these stronger moves the second time during the fight is extremely impactful. It gives you the most ignore defense and other great stats. It will give you the most damage. You're going to lose out on the defensive benefit of having Stone Skin, but I think she does thrive better in speed teams anyway, so that's what you're going to want to lean towards. Again, 4 lethal for Stone Skin is still really good. You could also do 4 lethal on 4 feral. That's a good defensive option as well. And then if you're not going for the 9 Merciless, which I think is her best, but you've got no defenses whatsoever then, 6 Merciless with some reaction is really solid as well. That's what I've gone for, 6 Merciless double reaction. It's obviously difficult to get 6 Merciless triple reaction, very hard. Very hard to get 9 Merciless as well. I've got 2 reaction, and yeah, there we go. That's sort of what we are looking at with her, I would say, for the gearing. You're going to be looking for crit damage, preferably on the gloves, attack percent on the chest. I would actually lean more towards speed on the boots. I do think you want to run her fast. Attack percent will be better for PvE content, though. Then attack, crit damage, and attack. You could grab accuracy on the banner, but I would definitely be leaning more towards attack. And I'd be looking for accuracy on the substats. Like getting a crit damage necklace with some accuracy is fantastic. Any random like weapons or any pieces that you have that happen to roll a substat for accuracy, just know that that's actually pretty valuable on her. So yeah, there you are. For the blessings, we've seen the blessings. I've gone for Life Harvest. I think the 3 main options, there's even more if you're 6-star, to be honest. So one big option, of course, is Lightning Cage. Lightning Cage, whenever an enemy receives a buff, or at 3-star, whenever they have their turn meter filled, you get a Lightning Orb stack. That does count, obviously, as an extra buff towards her A3. Great, so that can help you to hit this A3. Pretty handy. Obviously, it also protects your buffs, so it could, help her stay alive, help her do more damage, help her not be killed. It's got a good, very strong defensive benefit, particularly with Stone Skin. If you're running her in Stone Skin, protecting Stone Skin is incredibly strong, obviously, so that's really strong as well. One slight thing, I believe if you can consume the Lightning Orb. If you 3 of the stacks you hit an enemy, you do bonus damage, and then it removes the buff, and I think then you will actually miss on the extra turn if you were relying that. Let's say Lightning Cage was your 3rd buff. If she uses it up on the attack, I'm pretty sure that then she only has 2 buffs when it checks how many buffs she has, and you won't get the extra turn. So do watch out for that if you're going to use up your Lightning Cage. That being said, it's fairly straightforward, I would say, to set her up. For example, let's say you do have her 4 lethal, 4 Stone Skin, Lightning Cage, put her in with an Arbiter. Arbiter, increase attack, turn meter boost. Let's say you have Fabian lock them out. Maria gets to her turn. She has Stone Skin. She has Lightning Cage. Maybe 1 stack or 2 stacks, if even. She has increase attack, 3 buffs. You go in with her A3. Bada bing, bada boom. You're happy. You're sorted. Again, one thing I suppose as well to note, if you do put her in the 4 Stone Skin, that only lasts for 1 single turn. That is going to be a problem for setting up her AI on defense, right? So we open with the A3. if we're using Stone Skin for one of her buffs, because we can't open with her A1. She would, if she gets an extra turn, she'll outrun Stone Skin. The buff is gone. So if you're using Stone Skin, let's say increase attack, Lightning Cage, Stone Skin, you have to open with the A3. And then again, if you're playing on full auto, like you're using her on arena defense, or you're using her in your siege defense or whatever, she'll just go straight into the A2 next. And you won't be on the turn divisible by 3. So that again is something to consider when it comes to building her. And it is why, as well, I am leaning towards trying to not rely on Lightning Cage and just using Merciless. Is that I can open with the A1, I can do 2 A1s in a row if it needs be, whatever. And it's just a little bit easier to sync this up, certainly on auto for defense. But if you're not using her for defense, not so important, I suppose. But yeah, there we go. Lightning Cage is great. I like Life Harvest a lot. This champion, we didn't talk about her passive, but she's a massive single target nuker, yeah? But she can absolutely nuke an entire team with her A3. But you're not always going to be killing the entire team. They will get revives off sometimes. Life Harvest is a blessing that punishes revivers, and that works pretty well with her, I find. So I quite like this Life Harvest. Also with her passive, when an enemy is revived, she revives, which is cool. So you're kind of running this champion often against revivers. She counters some very strong champions with revive. Life Harvest is just sort of a natural pick to fit in to use with her. So I think that's pretty nice and pretty nifty. And there's no, unlike Lightning Cage, there's no gameplay thoughts about it. It's just, great, they revive someone, I get a turn meter boost, and then maybe I just nuke and I kill off the person they revived. Fantastic. Great for me. Let's go. So it's really good. Phantom Touch, I do like for Fire Knight. If you're doing her for PvE, you're going in for just something that's going to give good damage. Phantom Touch is pretty good damage. Just bonus single target damage. It's nice. Now, if she is 6-star, you can absolutely go for Crushing Rend. This will make her even better for PvE. Way better. It's going to give you... you want it at 6-star for every hit to ignore some extra defense, and it triggers much more. This will give you huge ignore defense against bosses and dungeons. It will massively up the damage of her A1 and A3. It will basically make it irrelevant which turn you use her A2 on. She'll, with Merciless set and 6-star Crushing Rend, you'll always basically be ignoring 100% defense against high-level bosses, so you don't even really need to think about it ever. Just use it whenever, and you can't lock out bosses. None of the bosses at the moment really have Stone Skin or block damage, so you don't care. Just use it as often as you can. It's her biggest damaging move. So yeah, it simplifies her PvE a lot, makes her massively stronger in PvE. I mean, it makes everyone massively stronger in PvE, but only at 6-star. Another consideration would be Ward of the Fallen at 6-star, where you're going to start with Bone Armor. At 6-star, you start with 3. Again, I wouldn't really recommend this at 1-star. As a buff, it does, again, count as a buff towards her A3. But this Bone Armor is giving you some damage reduction. It will help her stay alive. It will actually do bonus damage that scales off of attack based off dead allies. And when allies are dead, it will also do... that's when it does the bonus damage, and it will regenerate Bone Armor stacks. So at 6-star, that's when you start doing the bonus damage attacks. 6-star, Ward of the Fallen, definitely worth considering on her. It will give her a big boost of survivability. It will extremely consistently give her that extra buff towards her A3. And it will also do a nice bit of extra damage. She will, because of her passive, it's quite possible that she will be one of the last people standing. The damage reduction and obviously reviving when the enemy revives, it's not uncommon for her to be alive and there to be dead teammates. So definitely something to consider. For her relics. Okay, so the best one for damage by miles, I think it's probably the best damage, best relic for damage by miles for most, most champions in the game is the Dread Bomb. So this is going to give you a 10% chance for an extra turn when attacking. She attacks on every attack, so extra turns is great, and just cycle through her moves more often. Ignore an extra 10% defense when attacking during extra turns. Again, she has inherent extra turns, so you're going to be naturally triggering that extra ignore defense for even more power. It goes up to an extra 10% for 20% chance for an extra turn total, and that can be brutal, right? So like I said, it will up the chance for an extra turn on her A1. You'll get one anyway on her A3. It's going to give you a 20% chance when maxed out for an extra turn on her A2. It's giving her crit damage, speed, and attack, which are all her best stats. And yeah, for the gems, in theory, you should probably just go for this one. Chance for an extra turn after killing an enemy. If you get 3 of those bad boys in there, cool. Now you've got another 24% chance to get an extra turn when you kill someone, and she probably will. For the Circle Gemstone, you would go for Bloodthirsty Prowess. Budget options, Foe Killer, Invigorate, it's not bad. For these, a little bit worse here. I mean, if you have Piercing Strike's pretty good. Attacking Prowess is pretty good, especially if you're manual. Pierce Defenses is really good for PvE or PvP if you can ensure some debuffs. Shield Breaker's not bad. Life Drain's okay as well for destroying some more max HP as well. So you got a few different bits, lots of different options. But yeah, that's obviously her best relic. Now, the most general relic people will use, because it's highly unlikely you have a Dread Bomb. I don't even know if it's... I'm sure there have been some legendary Forge Pass relics at time of recording. So maybe someone has one, but maybe only one person in the world. I don't know. Wand of Submission is your typical go-to. You've got a chance to reflect. It goes up to 50% chance to reflect. Crowd control back at the producer. Now, she can get sheeped off of her A3 by Polymorph. She can get sheeped. She puts a True Fear on enemies when she revives. That can polymorph her as well. So this is very strong to counter polymorph if you're fighting any enemies with polymorph. It's also very strong to counter crowd control. She can survive attacks that people don't expect because of her passive. But she's very vulnerable to crowd control. This does protect her from it. So it's very, very powerful. She revives, and if she's fighting a Fabian, you preferably run her with Fabian, I would say. But if you're fighting against a Fabian and she revives, he will True Fear her. She can reflect it back. Now, he obviously breaks free, but it stops her being True Feared, which is nice. So this is a good, strong relic for her. Probably the typical go-to. She generally does enough damage anyway. You don't need a damage relic too much. Now, the sort of midpoint relic for damage would be Chimera, Gore Crescent, attack, crit damage, bit of speed, good gem slots, and your next attack after killing someone does up to 50% more damage. Yeah, huge for single target nukers, incredibly strong. Malefic Talon is your budget option, and those would be really the main ones. Most people, you're going to want to aim for Wand of Submission because you're going to be using her mostly in Arena. That's going to be the thing to go for. She's crazy with the Dread Bomb. Gore Crescent is your probably more accessible budget option, as it were. The non-budget legendary, because it's not available anymore, would be the Cat's Gaze. This was limited edition. You can't get it anymore. So this is a good option as well. I mean, it's a good option for every damage dealer. Covetous Passion obviously is good as well. Yeah, there's a good few options that you could go for her. For her masteries, because I like accuracy on her, I have gone for actually the accuracy tree. I quite like it. So again, I think don't underestimate that little bit of extra accuracy. This for her A3 for removing some buffs that you otherwise might not, and then a little bit of extra accuracy here. For the times where enemies don't have buffs divisible by 3, pretty often she'll remove them a little more consistently. For the times where you're using this A2 not on a turn divisible by 3, which will happen sometimes as well, you've got a chance then, a better chance to increase their skill cooldown. So I actually quite like this. Laura Steel is nice, especially with Merciless, because you got a lot of nice substats there. And Spirit Haste is good. Like I said, it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for several of your team to be dead and for Maria to still be alive or to revive back up. And that extra speed's quite nice. You can go the defense tree as well. I prefer this one. And then fairly standard offense tree. Whirlwind of Death, I really like this. You could go for Ruthless Ambush for a bigger chance to one-shot people. I find she probably generally doesn't need the damage. I really like Whirlwind of Death, the extra speed. I think speed is so strong in this champion. Cycle of Violence, again, really good. It will break her auto. Like, if you're relying on her A2 at the perfect time, it will obviously break that on full auto, but it's so strong in Arena. And yeah, I think everything else is fairly standard. You could ditch Methodical and go for Blood Shield or something. Maybe it could help her stay alive a little bit. It's not going to be very strong. Her max HP is pretty low, but with her damage mitigation, maybe. And it will also give you an extra buff to play around if you want to. So she can pretty consistently give herself a shield. That might be useful. Yeah, so it's definitely something to consider. Blood Shield as a mastery. And it's something I might give a go. Maybe. But yeah, there you go. That's Maria. You can see how I've built her. So I have her, in 6 Merciless. I do have one piece of Feral. It just happens I've got a really good Feral chest. I've got triple speed with a mythical roll as well into crit rate, attack percent. Honestly, that's the main reason she's in Feral, but it's a nice juicy bonus to get that 40 accuracy. I have her with 7,000 attack, 283 speed. Obviously, you want 100% crit rate, high crit damage, and then a bit of accuracy. This is generally what I would go for. High speed, I would try to get her very quick. I think high speed makes a big difference. You want her to go definitely before enemy damage dealers so that she can potentially lock them out or potentially like snipe someone, even fast damage dealers. Like typically you're going to run into, like for example, I've got my Marius in Stone Skin and like he's 300 speed. Or my Empress. These are probably the top tier free. I mean, it takes a good while to earn them, but they are ultimately free damage dealers, and you see them constantly in arena. My Empress is 297 speed. In Stone Skin as well. You want her to be fast enough. I preferably have her up at around the same speed, right? Around 300 for end game PvP, I think is probably the ideal. Obviously, if you're earlier in the game, you reduce all of these stats to match where you're at. Long story short, you do want her to be one of your faster damage dealers so that you can go before enemy damage dealers and snipe out key enemies, lock out key enemies from their skills. That is your goal. And also with high speed, much like Sun Wukong, right? He revives with 100% turn meter, and he still needs really high speed to go first. High speed is not going to guarantee she goes first by any means, but it does make it a little bit easier. When she revives, if she's got high speed, there's a good chance that she could cut in and take a turn before the enemy can do stuff after they've revived, right? A lot of revivers are going to revive people like 50% turn meter. She will have more, and if you've built more speed than their damage dealers, she should go before their damage dealers. You're not going to build her with more speed than the supports, so the supports would still go first probably, but it gives her a shot. So yeah, that's the sort of thing I think that you're looking at with her. Again, I swear I do really like Spirit Haste, and Whirlwind of Death can add up to some nice extra speed and make a bit of a difference there. And of course, Wand of Submission has speed on it as well, which is nice and juicy. Like I said, pick up some accuracy substats. They will make a difference. Aim, I mean, for example, you can see my Maria has 158 resistance, so I'd be aiming for, 160 accuracy. I mean, more typically, like let's say my Mario, someone who's got 5-star blessing, and she doesn't, he's coming up at like 300 resistance without particularly trying. In fact, with not trying at all. Empress doesn't have a blessing at all. He's got about 200. So I mean, you'd be looking at like 200 plus. Like for me, end game, I'd be looking for about 300 accuracy on her. I'm not going to stack it more, but I do want to get at least a little bit through substats. So like I said, if I have a necklace with accuracy, or hell, this shield, one has defense and one has accuracy, I'd go for the one with accuracy because it will make a little bit of difference to her. And yeah, that's broadly speaking what you're doing. Now, I've mostly focused on PvP, as you can probably tell. Let's take her into a fight. Some key teammates to put with her. I would say the key one I don't have. Necret opens up a lot. He gives you block debuff, strength, and ally protection at the start of a fight, and he will obviously be generating shield buffs. Where's the shield? It's over this one. So when an ally who's under ally protection is attacked, he gives them a shield. So he'll be regularly giving you 3 to 4 buffs. Will Necret the Great just by himself. So that opens up a lot of strategies. A fairly typical strategy that free to play, accessible if you've been playing for a few months, would be Arbiter. She gives you the speed aura, increase attack for more damage, and turn meter boost. And then you can pair her up with Donatello, right? And Donatello, continuous heal, strengthen, another turn meter boost. So increase attack, continuous heal, strengthen, bam, there's 3 buffs. For me, what I'm pairing her with at the moment, I've been trying out is with, let's just refresh. Let's fight a couple of teams. Sure, we'll do this one first. I've been pairing her up because this looks easy enough for me with Lazarius and Freya. Lazarius is basically super Arbiter. He's Arbiter, but better. Yeah, so I got better Arbiter, and then Freya's giving us a turn meter boost and 1 buff. So here we can see we're going to lock him out. Grand, they're actually really getting controlled. Here we go. And full auto, she's opening with her A1. She did get the extra turn, and look at that. Bam, 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 and she just rips through the whole team. Now, that's a very weak team relative to my gear. Let's look at something that's a little bit scarier and stronger. Let's look at this. And we'll talk about a couple of tricks and stuff. One thing with this team I'm showing you right here, this is not going to be, it's not going to be reliable, right? Why not? Well, I mean, simple enough. She's not going to have that guaranteed chance to get an extra turn on her A1. It's 70%. It's good. Oh, look there. Her buffs have been removed. So well, I tried to click off auto. I clicked info instead. Whoops. But we would want to click off auto at that point and do another A1, right? So if that happens, Carnage, kind of nice against her because of that. But yeah, let's see. And again, she's gone in. Here we go. Let's do another fight. And we'll talk about a couple of tricks. This should be kind of interesting. This is a tanky team. We should see a few different turns here. We're going to lose a ton of damage because of Harima. That reducing ignore defense is going to make her very strong. One nice combo as well with Freya is that Freya will also give her a cheat death, which is quite cool. There we go. We did get the extra turn. We've tried to remove all the buffs. It's not quite worked well, but we did. Again, like, she was still able to kill that Harima past all those defenses, which is just so powerful. Luckily, his Freya was protecting his Marius. That wouldn't have made a huge difference in the end. But yeah, let's see. So if we come over here, we don't... yeah, I guess it's not really going to make a difference. We can see, just for example, we can see if we nuke her Freya, it's going to nuke the Marius as well. It's not going to hit him particularly hard. Never mind, it did hit him particularly hard. It wouldn't normally hit him particularly hard because he was petrified, but it still did crazy damage. She's got huge, huge damage potential. And that's even without that mythical gemstone that's giving you more. We'll come over here. Oh, wrong one. We hit this one. And then we'll do one more sample fight, and I'll talk about a couple of sneaky strategies as well that you can use. So we are faster than him. I do quite like running her with a lockout champion as well. So I think she goes very well with like a Fabian. Here she's missed the extra turn. There you go. We did not get the 70%. That's fine. Empress is a little scary. She does have a cool counter to Empress. I wonder if we will see it. We might see it. Yes, we have the potential to see it. She's lived. He's not particularly tanky, Empress. Okay, good. Actually, let me attack this person. So this, I want to show this combo visually. And we'll just try to keep them alive. So I've lost track of which turn she's on. But check this out. Her passive, right? Against an Empress. Empress kills you with his passive. So when you kill an Empress, he reflects the damage back at you. So your damage dealer typically dies, and he revives himself. Watch what happens with Maria. Bam. So there we go. Don't kill him. Okay, now we're fine. He revives. Surprise. And we're back. And look at this. The Empress, he's got that much turn meter. My Maria has that much. Now, she has been true feared by Fabian. My Wand of Submission didn't reflect the true fear back. Slightly tragically, but that's okay. But yeah, beautiful stuff and beautiful stuff. Part of the idea of this particular team comp as well, this is not like the best possible team comp. I think it's just a very, very good team composition. I mean, let's refresh. Let's try find a difficult team. We'll definitely lose to some teams. Like we could try against this one. This team is not going to win against every team. For example, I tried against the Turtles. Like we got hard wrecked. It's quite funny. What was I saying? Can't remember what I was saying. But hey. Oh, that's not so good. The Marius just resisted. But we are in danger. So here, for example, we'd want to like auto. And what we could do is we could actually try, we want to kill the Marius preferably. We remove all their buffs, which is nice. And look at that. You see what happened there? How do I have her A3 back? Here's another I didn't talk about. Merciless set cooldown reduction. Cycle of violence, right? Two things. We can trigger both of them on the same attack. So if we play her on manual, yeah, that's why you want to open with her A3 is to get that cooldown reduction in. You will outrun her buffs, but it is obviously extremely strong. Now we could just nuke him. Great, now with my extra turn, I nuke her. And yeah, I don't have increased attack. It doesn't matter. We just hit Sifi for 300,000 damage. She's super dead. Even if you've got far worse stats than me, I mean, no one is building Sifi with 300,000 HP. It's not physically possible. So you're still going to be killing people even with lower stats. You get the gist. Couple of tricks that you can do with Maria as well. So number one, we mentioned she's actually really good against Empress. She will kill Empress and then revive herself, effectively getting her pretty close to an extra turn, which is really cool. One thing that you saw as well, if she is dead, Empress revives first, then she revives passively after him because she is dead when he revives because she's killed herself from hitting him in that situation. Life Harvest obviously doesn't apply, but still, she comes back with 66% turn meter. Empress revives with none. So she's a kind of a cool little counter there. She's really, really solid as well. She can be a cool way to fight back against a Siegfried. So what you want to do, if he's about to be killed, he gets block damage and he gains 100% turn meter. 100% turn meter is nice, but extra turn takes precedence. So let's say we land her A1, we get an extra turn. You've got your 3 buffs ready to go. Or let's say you open with her A3. Bam, extra turn. Siegfried, he's just sitting there. Hit him with her A1. The triple hit, you trigger his passive. Ooh, you got block damage, 2-turn Siegfried about to take a turn. If you get the extra turn with her, you can A2 and kill him. A little bit risky. A little bit risky. What I would generally prefer to do would be to A1 somebody else. If you get the extra turn, then do her A3 on Siegfried, trigger his passive. You get the guaranteed extra turn off her A3 if you got the buff condition met. And then you follow up the A2. You've killed the Siegfried. You've locked out the rest of their team. It's all good. So that's pretty nifty. One interesting one as well is Nice. Now, from what I have seen, Nice's passive takes precedence. So that is, I think, what happens. Let's say you do your A1, as I'm doing, get my extra turn. If I smack Nice in my A3 with my 3 buffs and I'm due to get an extra turn, I believe that he will take a turn first. And if he swaps for him, he's probably going to kill her. He's almost definitely going to kill her with the A2. If he weak hits, she might survive. Definitely if she's been hit a couple of times first, she will survive. And then she can finish off the Nice. But he might have revived some of his teammates, which could get a bit funky. Now, if the Nice transforms and the Nice throws up his block damage counterattack, then yeah, she can go in and she can A2 that guy and she will kill a Nice through block damage. So that is a really cool counter as well. So she's got some really interesting counterplays to some of these champions. And again, with Nice, because he's reviving allies whenever he kills an enemy, she can potentially come and cut in. So it can work very well. She'll revive with 66% turn meter. The Nice will be at 0. Now, Nice obviously is going to have double speed and typically be built fast. So, for example, my Nice has close to 300 speed. If he has almost double, like my Nice could easily be running at 400 or 500 speed. He's going to be pretty close, but she might get a turn first and be able to kill him. She only ignores block damage here. Don't forget, she will only ignore the block damage on the 3rd turns. So only on her A2, only on the 3rd turn. And you can't remove these buffs. So if she doesn't have her 3rd turn A2, she won't be able to kill the Nice. Though she could kill his teammates and potentially keep reviving and come back and snipe him off. So there is some pretty cool stuff that is happening there. So yeah, anyway, there you go. It gives you a good gist for Sanguine Maria. And the stuff that you want. Again, you will find the infographic, the spotlight, the champion page giving a guide over on hellhades.com. I focus mostly on, pretty much actually exclusively on Arena in this video, but I do think a full Merciless build is the way to go for PvE as well, and you're building the same stats. Accuracy is even less important in PvE, to be honest, and yeah, you would give her Gore Crescent probably for PvE, or Cat's Gaze if you're running bosses, that sort of thing. You wouldn't give her Wand of Submission for PvE, but I mean, you get the gist, and you give her Phantom Touch or Heaven Cast or something. Crushing Ren 6-star, by far the best PvE. Yeah, I've not really focused on it, but all the same sort of concepts work. I get what I'm aiming for: Merciless, high speed, high damage. I want to try to ensure my composition is either giving her 3 or 6 buffs on her first turn, so I can get the extra turn on her A3. After that, it's a little bit YOLO. It's a bit YOLO with just Merciless and just nuking people. And she rips people apart pretty darn well. So there you go. That is Maria. Hopefully it's helpful. I think she's an absolute ton of fun. She reminds me a lot of Rotus, actually. A lot of Rotus. And she is very, very cool. Again, one note, she's pretty rubbish against the turtle team. You by definition, I tried her against the turtle team a couple of times just for fun because Leo's path is coming up tomorrow. He does more damage for every buff. In the fight, you're running Maria on a team that inherently is typically running quite a few buffs. And what happens is she tries to kill him and he just starts nuking your team. It's quite brutal, actually. Donatello will keep someone alive and then stuff starts dying. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, Donatello keeps someone alive on her first hit, and then this guy starts just slamming these moves in. It's pretty nasty. So don't probably run her against Leonardo. What with the full turtle team? He's just going to kill you with random A3s that just blitz your team, she's not going to live. But she's very good. Apart from that, not to end on a down note, but I just thought that was a fun fact from some of the testing I've been doing. So there you go. That is Sanguine Maria. And yeah, let me know what you think of her. What team are you running her with? Again, for me, I'm thinking Lazarius, Freya, simple 3 buffs. That is auto-friendly, gives us some nice protection, gives us a cheat death. One nice thing as well, I think I did forget to mention to end on, because of her A3, doing this big splash damage to enemies that are softened up, Freya, at the moment, I'm probably going to switch her into Stone Skin, but she's like not pure damage. She's in 9-piece protection, but she does enough damage. And my Lazarius is a support, but he's also built for damage because he's Lazarius. So they will do enough damage to potentially kill teams themselves. They will certainly do enough damage to soften teams up for Freya's A3 to rip through them, which is really, really cool. That's it. That's Sanguine Maria. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.